Welcome to the first episode of Beyond the Title, a program where we look at and take a deep dive into the ministers of government that will be serving from 2025, subsequent to President Ali's re-election. Joining me for this first episode is the new Minister of Labour and Manpower Planning, the Honourable Keoma Griffith. Minister Griffith, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me. Hearing the Honourable Minister Griffith, Keoma Griffith, still has a buzz to it that I'm trying to process. So.
I could imagine. So, Minister, this is your first stint here in the national politics, I can say. And there may be many people who are still unfamiliar with who you are. Mm-hmm. So let's start the conversation right there. Who is Keoma Griffith?
I'm a son, I'm a servant. I lived 30 years of my life in East Ruimveldt. I come from the East Ruimveldt community, and I've always, in whatever I've done, I've always had some aspect of leadership in it. I've been heavily involved in my church in terms of youth development and youth empowerment. I've been an attorney at law for 9 years. I've practiced at all levels, including the Caribbean Court of Justice, where not to boast, we were successful. Court of Appeal, High Court, possibly all of the magistrates' courts in Guyana. Mm-hmm. So I'm just, I don't want to say I'm the average guy to water down my what I have to offer, but I'm a pretty, I guess, I'm a pretty quintessential basic person.
Yeah. But you've done some other things. I know that you've been on the Bar Association as well.
Correct. So I've been serving on I previously served in the Bar Association from 2018 up until this period when I got the appointment. I've served as the secretary of the Bar Association as well as the assistant secretary. The Bar Association does tremendous work. Essentially, especially in relation to a lot of the laws in this country, the Bar Association is one of the key stakeholders in terms of consultation for all of the pieces of legislation. So the Attorney General Chambers, the Bar Association, shared a very good relationship with the Bar Association in terms of consulting with them on all the pieces that would be laid in Parliament. And of course, the Bar Association represented the interests of lawyers. Right. So even in that sphere, I was always, whether it was advocating for the interests of my colleagues, collaborating with the judiciary to improve the administration of justice, on all of these things. I had to interface with the government on some matters and so on. I sat on, as a representative, a nominee on the Juvenile Justice Committee as well. I was also integral in the development of a filing system in the magistrates court. That was a project that lasted for about 2.5 years, where I had to work closely with the Chief Justice, the Chancellor, and other persons within the legal profession to transform from manual filing into a digital system. So
really good stuff.
Those are some of the things I've had my hand involved in
over the last couple of years.
But
what is also interesting, and I have to ask you weren't on the list of candidates for the People's Progressive Party Civic. We didn't see you in a public way campaigning, but now you're Minister of Government. How did you get here?
How did I get here? I mean, I truly believe it was a divine appointment. I really believe God spoke to the president concerning me, and I really think that's how I got here. I don't think it's by chance. Things happened really, really quickly. I spoke with the president on Saturday, and at 5:15 on Saturday afternoon, he called me, and I got certain instructions, and then an hour later, I was in a suit, in a shirt and tie, and I was at State House. Still, I don't think a lot of people knew apart from myself and His Excellency, and I think maybe the Vice President and the senior leadership. So yeah,
That's
here
what
I am
happened.
now.
It would be remiss of me to sit here and not ask you this too. You are a young person in national leadership at what we consider to be the highest level of national leadership. You're a Christian
Yes.
in national leadership as well, and you've been handed this task, given this task. You've earned this responsibility. What do you think this says about President Ali and the confidence that he has always had in young people, and what do you think this says to other young people who may be looking at your story and just considering?
Well, the President and I are both men of faith. It's something that we relate on. I was one of President Ali's youth advisors in terms of being appointed on the Youth Advisory Council. President Ali brings a level of humility, and he's able to relate on all levels, including with young people. When he invited me to be on his Youth Advisory Council, he called personally. In fact, he called all 25 of us to ask us to serve on the Youth Council. So it really signals a commitment to young people in this country that this government, this president, is not only interested in having young people serve, but also the transition of leadership, the flow, handing down major responsibility from those who've been in public office for a very long time to somebody like me. I've never been a politician. I've never occupied any form of national leadership, but here now I have this tremendous responsibility which has been entrusted to me, not only by the president, but every person who has voted for this government. And it just really signifies confidence in young people. And I'm really, really grateful for His Excellency for not just utilizing me, but if you look at our cabinet, a lot of my colleagues are very, very young persons. In fact, I think President Ali maybe has, maybe the record of being one of our youngest ministers. But that has been the legacy of the People's Progressive Party. I believe it started with Ashton Chase, who was maybe 24 or 25, who was the first Labour minister, interestingly, So it signals a commitment to young people to always put their interests first and to ensure that there is youthful and competent representation at a national level where young people can also be a part of decision making and policy making in this country.
Are you the youngest minister in the cabinet?
I may be the youngest. I may be the youngest
You may be.
in this cabinet.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure. I was talking to my colleague Suzanne. I can't believe I could call them on a first name basis now.
Yeah.
They've all told me just first name. And Suzanne was saying, of course, Suzanne is the Honorable Minister of Tourism now. She was saying that she was the youngest in the last cabinet, and she was, I believe, 30. I can't give away her age.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. I get it. That's okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about Labour. Major successes in Labour over the last 5 years. Well, the scope of the ministry, the Board of Industrial Training 13,000 people, historic collective bargaining agreements signed, a lot of work done in making sure that occupational hazards are removed from a lot of workplaces. How do you envision yourself continuing on this trajectory, but also improving on the foundation that has already been laid?
I think the point has to be made that this government has delivered in excess of 50,000 jobs, which was a campaign commitment. Now, the Ministry of Labour has played an essential role in that, just with the development and transformation that this country is seeing and will continue to see. The Ministry of Labour plays a vital role in preparing a workforce. There is an aspect of the ministry called manpower planning, which a lot of people will still learn about what we're doing in terms of manpower planning. But it's really to prepare a labor force and a workforce with all that has all that Guyana is experiencing right now, the changes. So the Ministry of Labour has been critical in that aspect. There has been a lot of work done in the 5 years. Many persons, thousands, you said 13, it's actually 15,000, in excess of 15,000 persons have benefited from training in all the sectors. The Ministry of Labour drives every single sector in this country, right? So I'm going to have my hand in a lot of work, a lot of sectors going on, whether it's just training. In terms of manpower, there has been recruitment drives. People come to the ministry, and there is a bank where they submit their contact and their information. And we have recruiters in the ministry who go and try to place them, and a lot of those persons, thousands of persons today, have been beneficiaries and are now within jobs. Their families, their living situations, their standards have been improved, and it all comes back to the promise made 5 years ago to deliver on jobs. So a manifesto promise is one thing, but when you get in, you have to work it. So that's just some of a promise which has been delivered, which we are seeing now today. And I'm happy to be able, that I'm involved in this ministry. In terms of what I want to do, you will know I have a strong legal background. What I want to do is to ensure in this term, the Ministry of Labour has the requisite legal framework to balance and to manage all that is taking place. So we have to have a strong legal framework to protect the interests of employees, those who work in the labor force in this country, but we have to also ensure that it's also balanced to also manage the interests of employers and ensure that where there is need for improvement on both sides, that we can ensure that. So those are some of the things that I'm happy to report on, and kind of a direction that I want to ensure I focus on during this time. So while I'll be out in the regions, working with all my departments as well, I intend to have a very close relationship with the Attorney General's chambers to ensure that we have a legislative framework that can manage and also help us in that transition as we continue to develop this country. We can't just develop the country and not develop the framework. So a lot of that is what I want to get done during this time.
Minister Griffith, let me ask you before we go.
Yes.
When you look at Guyana in 2025, and then you look at Guyana in 2030, what differences do you see?
Oh my gosh, I want
do
to
you
say,
expect to see, I should say?
Well, what I can tell you, with the mandate we have been given, not just by the president but by the people, this is something that you will know that this government has indicated that we will make direct deposits into the lives of people in this next term. It's already begun, right? You will know that there have been scholarships, persons have been benefiting in many different ways. But I see a transformed working class, a transformed labor force. I see a happier people. I see a more united people in the next 5 years. I see a country where its citizens are happy and they're able to experience really the greatness that we are all, that everybody around the world is seeing and boasting about. We will see why Guyana is now the fastest growing economy in the world. And so I'm just happy to be whatever part I'm able to play in that. I'm extremely happy to be a part of it.
Minister Griffith, I want to thank you so much for spending the last few minutes with us
Thank
here
you very much.
in the studio. Any final comments before we wrap?
Just know that the Ministry of Labour, we're here to work as a service ministry. please, I have an open door policy. Come into the ministry. There's a lot of information, a lot of opportunities. Come and find out. Look out on our social pages and get information. And I look forward to serving and meeting all of the people of Guyana.
Minister Griffith, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
You've heard there from the Minister of Labour and Manpower Planning, the Honourable Keoma Griffith. Stay with us here on the National Communications Network as we continue to bring you more updates just like this. My name is Shaquan Gill, and I'm saying goodbye for now.